Hello, and tonight on Thursday Night Live, we're diving into a topic that is rarely discussed, but lives inside each of us, and that is the actual mechanism how we receive messages from God, Source, our higher self. This innate built-in system is the energy behind my intuitive work, and it's how psychics around the world tap into the divine. We often talk about listening to the quiet voice inside, that subtle image, that fleeting feeling, or that sudden impression. But tonight we're going to dig deeper. We're going to talk about alignment through surrender. Welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. I'm so excited about this topic. I was reading, so there's a series of books called Lessons in Tanya, which is a book of Kabbalistic literature, and they brought up this one point, and I just started writing, and it's like, okay, this is what we're talking about this week, because I listen to that quiet voice inside that prompts me to move forward. And this is the mechanism we're going to be talking about. And I've talked a lot, okay, maybe a bit incessively, whatever that word is, on the show about listening to that quiet voice inside. And it might be a quiet voice. It might be a fleeting image, or it might be a feeling or impression that you receive. And I've suggested multiple times also that you can use this piece of information to guide your life. And so you might say, why? And it's because when we surrender to this information, we're actually surrendering to a greater power than ourselves. We're aligning with higher vibrations, with Source, with the universe, and some people call this energy God. And I've used this image before, but I'm putting it back up on the screen so we can talk about it. And so looking at this image, there are the subtle bodies, which are the little dotted lines around the person. And it is from the outside in, it is the causal body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the etheric body. And in each of these layers, there's the little squiggly lines that are going through, and they represent either the tree of life or the chakra system that energy needs to move through so that it is transformed into the next slower vibration until it finally reaches us. And where I'm talking specifically is the line that is going above the head, because that's where we receive from higher levels of energy. And it's through that line, through that connection, that there is basically a two-way conversation that's going on. There's communication from Source that we receive as a feeling, an image, or possibly that voice. But then there's the communication from us to the universe. And so a lot of people think, oh, I should pray, but I'm going to shift that a little bit. I'm going to say, you need to ask questions, because if you ask a question, the universe will always give you an answer. And once we receive that answer, whether it's the soft voice or the image or the feeling, and we receive it, we surrender to it, we can act on it, we can pay attention to it, we can speak on it, or we can choose to just totally ignore it, which a lot of people do, which is why I bring this topic up over and over and over again. And I've shared this story once before, but I'm going to share it again. And it was, excuse me, uh, right before Christmas, and my dishwasher was backed up, and there was like 4 inches of liquid on the bottom of the dishwasher. So I called the repair guy, but it was right before Christmas, and he was like, I'm going out of town. I'm not going to be back till after the new year. And I live in Podunkville, so there's not a whole lot of places that you can call that you can have them come and fix your stuff. He goes, I won't be back till after the first of the year. So I'm thinking, I have 2 weeks of this murky liquid in the bottom of my dishwasher, which wasn't a happening thing for me. And so I went and I got a coffee cup because it had a handle, and I got some ShamWow towels that I had on hand. And I'm sitting it on the floor by the dishwasher, and I'm trying to scoop the liquid out with the cup, which really wasn't working very well. And so I asked myself, okay, so maybe I wasn't asking myself, maybe I was asking Source, what can I use to get the water out of this thing? And the first thing that came to my mind was a turkey baster, which even to me, it sounded really strange. It's like a turkey baster. But when I thought about it a second, it's like I can go and use the little suction thing and just and get that water and put it into the pot and get rid of it. It worked like a champ. And within 20 minutes, I had the whole thing emptied out, took my little ShamWow towels, dried it up, left the door open to get some evaporation going, and I was good to go. But we often receive those kinds of messages. We get the feeling, I should take a sweater to work today, but we don't, or an umbrella. And we end up getting stuck out in a rainstorm, or we end up in a meeting where it's freezing cold, or the temperature sways, and where it was warm in the morning, it's now cold at night. And so I always suggest that you notice, you pay attention to the input you're receiving. Not as important for you to heed its advice, although life would be a whole lot better and a whole lot easier. But in time, you'll begin to notice the truth in what you're receiving. And then maybe you'll start paying attention to that guidance. But there are some obstacles that you can encounter when you are trying to access this information. And I'm going to put my image back up. So image, there you are. So as that energy, see, I'm like going with my cursor pointing, but you can't see that. So as that energy is flowing from source, so above the head, in through the body, it has to go through our mental body. And so our ego might get in the way, or there might be a limiting belief that says, oh, I can't do that, or it should be this way, or it needs to be done this way, or this is how things are, that might interfere with the movement of that energy or our perception of it, because what it will do is it will distort it. I've seen this in many people that do readings, and I hate to say that out loud, but they let their own mental chatter and their own beliefs cloud the material that they're receiving. As it moves further down, it has to go through your emotional body. And at that point in time, it might trigger a reaction in you. And instead of reporting what the energy is from a neutral place, it gets an emotional reaction to it. And so now you're reporting on your reaction and not necessarily the neutrality of the situation that is going on. So if you live in ego, if you have deep-seated fears, if you experience a lot of trauma, this can block or distort our interpretation of the message received. But when you surrender, okay, and I'm using that word very specifically, when you surrender, I can get rid of this. When you surrender to whatever is coming through, then you can become a clear channel. For example, and for people that have listened to this show, and if you haven't listened to the psychic reading second part of the show, I would highly recommend that you check it out. But if you hear during a reading, well, this doesn't make sense to me, or vocalizing things out loud that might seem hard to hear on a personal level, it's because I'm not filtering it. And so even though I might have my thoughts and opinion or my feelings about something that I'm seeing or something that I'm noticing, I have learned to kind of move that to the side and just report. It is my job to report what I get to you, because I am just trying to stay in that flow, in that line of energy. And so if having your life be easier, having it make more sense, then it might be a benefit for you to start noticing what all is going on inside. So I'm going to say religion. Yeah, I'm going to say religion often states that you have to believe in a book in order to connect with God. They suggest that you pray in order to get your wishes granted, your needs met. But usually by the time people get to the prayer part, they're usually in a desperate place, or they are trying to achieve or accomplish something that isn't really part of their karmic path, and really don't want to listen to or own the reality of what's going on. And they just don't really want to get necessarily the truth answer. They're looking for external validation for a situation or a miracle to heal all of their woes. And these same individuals also do not suggest that you look inside yourself. They don't tell you to pay attention to that soft voice inside that is constantly guiding you to perfection. And it's this connection, this subtle messages that you're receiving, like them or not, that is God, that is source, that is the universe, that is your higher self talking directly to you. It is this connection, this part of us. This is how we're designed. It's not something that we turn on or turn off. This is how we're designed. And so if you want to move forward in this area, then this is a key piece for you to internalize into who you are and into your daily being. So start paying attention to this. And as you do, it will make your connection stronger and stronger each time you flex that muscle. So start working that muscle out and see where this guidance is taking you. Okay, guys, that's my spiel for today. And so I'm going to, in a second, move on to the reading part, but we have some new ground rules here. And I'm going to put this up. Let's do that. And so if you go to soulhealer.com/live, there are 3 things that you can do there. So if you're in the reading queue, so I'm looking and there's already like 24 comments up there, and there's a pretty good crowd that I can see. I can't see everyone that is actually viewing the show. But if you came in a little bit late and you want to jump the line and you want to be the next person in the queue, jump the line. If you have a specific question that you want to ask, and so during the show, it's like you can ask for a reading. You can say, hey, Dr. Rita, I would like a number 3, with the numbers 1 through 3 being the number of times I will shuffle the cards on your behalf until I cut them. But let's say you have a health concern or a relationship issue or something going on at work that you want to get more clarity on, above and beyond whatever a general reading provides, then use the Ask Dr. Rita button. And then always, if you're liking the programming of the show, I would love it if you would leave me a little something. There's a leave a tip link that, again, is on soulhealer.com/live. And if you are listening to this show in a rerun format and you want to join in the conversation and get a free on-air psychic reading, go to the best place to go is to go to YouTube and go to my YouTube channel, which is Just Energy Radio on YouTube, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. And you guys, if you're there, like and subscribe to the show and get the notifications that it's coming up. And I would love you for it. Okay. So let's see. What do I want to do? I want to do that. Okay. Ooh, that's really big. Okay. So I'm going to start at the top of the list, kind of say hi to people and go from there. Okay. And actually, can I make that smaller? Doesn't really look. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay. So let's see. Oh, it dropped me all the way back. Okay, so the first person in the queue is ERRT Radio. Hey, ERRT Radio. And he says, hi, Dr. Rita. Happy Thursday. Yesterday was my birthday. Happy birthday. I'm officially a senior, you old thing. I'm not sure if I was going to make it, but you're here and you're in a good place and you didn't ask for a number. So let's see. You have amazing hair as always. May I have a reading number 3, please? And thank you. Okay, you sure can. And guys, please, if you're communicating, when there's a lot of comments, if you're communicating with me, I would appreciate it if you would use capital letters. And if you're just making general conversation, please use lowercase. All right, number 3, ERRT Radio. Okay, and that's your card for today. So ERRT Radio, what was it, yesterday? Okay, yesterday. So it's interesting. I mean, this is not an interpretation that I would normally tie to this card, but this is what's coming up. So I get the feeling that you're feeling a little bit lonely, a little bit out of your element. And, and I think that that's kind of tied to your birthday, like at Christmas, if you don't have people around to spend the holidays with, it always leaves this weird feeling inside of you. And that's kind of what I'm feeling around you right now. So I'm not going to take it as a thing. I think it's a leftover birthday thing, but it might be something that you look at as you move forward. I do feel like there's a bit of a call for you to, start work on your social connections in and around where you're at. Okay. And happy birthday. All right. And Christine is here. She says, hello, how are you? May I have a reading number 2, please? And thank you. You sure can. So what do you guys think of the topic tonight? I mean, that just like came right through. So I hope it came out of me to you in like kind. Okay, so, Kristen, sorry. Kristen, here's your card for today. Okay. So Kristen, I feel like you're in a growth period right now. I feel like your life, your inner world is trying to level up. I feel like there's a lot of information and insights and work and that's coming to you right now. I get the feeling that it might leave you feeling a little bit overwhelmed and overloaded, but I do feel like it is taking you to the next level. So breathe and surrender to it. And I mean, I feel like you emotionally are taking it pretty well, but I feel like, well, no. Their advice is rest, give yourself some time. It's not that you shouldn't do the work, but you also need to make sure that you are nurturing and taking care of yourself so that you don't get burned out. That's their guidance for this period for you right now. Okay? Unar, hey girl. Good evening, Dr. Rita and friends. My number is 3 tonight, and you sure can, Unar. Okay. Interesting cards today. All right, so that's your card for today. Interesting. Okay, so this usually for me does not come up emotionally as like a positive card. But for you tonight, this is actually coming up as a very positive card. So what they're showing to me is that there is something that there is a death to a piece of you. And I don't mean a physical death. I feel like it's an emotional death, that you are letting go of something, and it's more like a limiting belief that you've been hanging on for a very long time, and like you finally noticed it and you are ready to have it go. And I feel like, I mean, it's interesting because in this process there's also kind of a feeling of loss and a little bit of grieving that's tied to it. But I feel like it won't take long for you to be on the other side and notice this sense of openness and freedom that you've been looking for. So I'm going to make the assumption that fairly recently you've had a pretty big aha moment, and you have this big transformation working its way through. So good job. Okay, and Yvonne is here. She says, hi, everyone. Hi, Dr. Rita. Can I get a reading number 2, please? And you sure can. Yvonne. Okay, and that's your card for today. Well, you know, they're being very interesting tonight. Because usually that's not such a positive card either. So Yvonne, the words that keep coming up is I'm tired. I feel like, you know, you keep hitting the same brick wall, that you keep expending the same energy, but it's not really moving you forward. I'm feeling like you're feeling a bit frustrated with what is going on. I feel like in this, you are expending a lot of your emotional / creative energy, but again, hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. I pulled another card for you because I want resolution, because that was just stating the problem and I'm not liking it. Okay. So Yvonne, I get the impression that, and I'm going to say like this past year, give or take, that you have been going out and like going to the apple tree and picking this apple and going, it's okay. And you try it for a minute and you throw it away. And then you pick this apple and you check it out. And then you pick this apple and you pick this apple. And none of them have really fit or felt good or felt completely right. And I would like to challenge you to stop and take a step back and really look at this year of all the different things that you've done, and maybe look for the pattern of what is it in these things that brings me excitement, that brings me happiness. I'm feeling like there's a pattern there. I'm feeling like, you're supposed to be merging them together or picking pieces of each one so that you can form something different and something new. Because I feel like all of them had a little something going on. And now it's time to like reap what you've sown and pull it all together. And I think that will make sense to you. I hope so. Okay. And we have the Black Knight of Talk Radio. It's James Arthur Yanchik, the Black Knight of Talk Radio. And you can see his show on f2f.com. Okay, hang on one second. f2f.com. Okay, not f2f.com. Feet to the Fire. James Arthur Yanchik. So how I do the introductions to these shows, and I do like a 15-minute thing, I actually started doing a once-a-month segment on his show, Feet to the Fire, a million years ago. I was still in the womb when I started doing them. And did it for kind of a long time. And it was really fun. And so I just find it very inspiring. So hi, James. So nice to see you. If you want a reading, leave me a number. Okay. And we have I'd Soul Shine, something like that. It says, good evening, Dr. Rita, and everyone. I'd like a reading too if there's time left. Thank you. Okay. So Soul Shine, you didn't leave a number, but you left that. And let's see. Well, that's a 4. So I'm going to give you a 3. You left me that $, which is the number 4 on the keyboard, but I'm going to give you a 3 reading. Okay, interesting. Okay, Soulshine, that's your card for today. So Soulshine, I feel a very similar energy for you. I feel like there has been, I'm going to classify it as a limiting belief. I feel like there has been something in your psyche. It feels very mental, a thought, an image, a belief that has been holding you back, and you kind of busted it and you've taken it to task. And now I feel like there's a layer of release and freedom that you're experiencing right now. Own it, relish it, enjoy it, and find joy in the steps that you take as you move forward into this new energy dynamic that you call life. So now I'm curious what this is. So just tell me everything in the notes below. Amy. Hi, Amy. And she says, hi, Dr. Rita. Happy Thursday. Can I have a number 3 reading tonight, please? And thank you. You sure can, Miss Amy. And don't forget, if you want to jump the line, ask a specific question, or leave a little something, go to soulhealer.com/live. Okay, so Amy, number 3. Amy, all right, that's your card for today. Interesting, Amy. So I feel like you've gone on a little emotional vacation which I feel like it was necessary. I feel like in your world, things were getting very serious and maybe a little bit chaotic. And I feel like you're just like, I'm done, and are just, again, taking a little vacation in, okay. They're saying you're letting go of the responsibility of doing and just being. And I know that the last couple of weeks, the readings were kind of weird, but maybe you were too busy in the doing and not enough in the being. And I feel like you're really moving into the being again, and we all fluctuate. So this is not like a good thing or a bad thing. We all fluctuate through. Our energy's a little stuck. It's a lot free flowing. It's over here. I have bad brain. I'm having a great day. We all experience that, sometimes all in one day, sometimes one day in a week. It just varies. And so, Amy, enjoy your vacation. Stay warm, stay dry. I hope you have stocked up for the ice vortex that is going to be hitting us and most of the country. But if you live in the South, they are so not prepared for any kind of like inclement weather at all. And there have been reports that I've been seeing like on Facebook, local ones, that there's no water in the stores. There's no bread at this store. My cousin who lives in the Dallas area was like, I went to get chicken. There was no chicken, and people are just posting pictures of food shelves that are just completely empty. So wherever you are in the country, as we go into this winter weekend, stay warm, stay dry, stay safe. Okay. Okay, Don's in the house and he says, hi, Dr. Rita. I hope you are ready. I hope you're ready for me. I am, Don. Could I have a number 3 reading? You sure can. Hey, Don, let's see where you're at tonight. Oh, Don. That's your card for today. You got a little mask card. All right, Don, let's see. Let's take, okay, so this was right underneath it. I like this card for you. So just a little obstruction, not too bad. So, Don, I get the impression that there's something that you need to do or something that you need to work on. And your own thoughts and beliefs about you and your competency and your ability and who you are getting in the way. And I just want to acknowledge that for you, because it's not really true. And if it turns out like a piece of crap, it turns out like a piece of crap. We're too old to like worry about that stuff anymore. But once you let that go, you'll experience the freedom that you were having that kind of got honked up a little bit by this thinking. So quit it, Don. Get back. Give us our new improved Don back. Then Amy said, what a great topic. Thank you, Amy. All right, and then we have Rosie B. Hi, Dr. Rita. Lovely to see you live. Hi, Rosie B. Nice to see you too. And she says, could I have a reading number 2, please? And you sure can, Rosie. And again, if these sessions make sense to you, I would love to get some validation down at the bottom. of course, I would love to hear the backstory about what I'm talking about, because as I was describing in the beginning, I just open up to whatever is going to come through. And so sometimes I don't even know. Okay, Rosie, that is your card for today. So, Rosie, I don't know, and I'm throwing this in because it is possible with the energy that I'm seeing that you left a situation, whether it was a romantic relationship or a job situation, but I feel like you are feeling free. That, the energy is like, well, I can do what I want. I can have my wishes. I can go by my own guidance. I feel like there's been this release of control that wasn't you controlling yourself, but external circumstances or a person controlling you and your energy. And I just feel like you're just feeling really good, or hopefully you're feeling really good. Yeah, sweet. And it's Lord of Ink. Hey, Lord of Ink. And he says, good evening, Dr. Rita. Can I have a number 3 reading, please? And you sure can, Lord of Ink. Okay. All right. And that is your card for today. So, Lord of Ink, it doesn't have to be such a battle. You don't have to sit there and fight for everything. You don't have to do things that you have, and I'm going to say, the upper hand. And I'm not saying that in like a controlling way, although kind of. Even it does make you feel safer. But I just am looking at the level of energy. So, from a chakra perspective, the level of 3rd chakra energy you are putting out into the world in order to get things to happen. And it almost seems exhausting to me. And so maybe you can start trusting and allowing the universe to work on your behalf, as opposed to using so much effort to get the things that you want. Now, I'm not saying that if there's, how do I want to say this? In the world, we are taught that that is how you achieve and that is how you get things. But at least in this moment, that's not really working for you. I feel like one of the lessons you're supposed to be learning right now is about receiving and surrendering. And so I'm planting that seed for you to maybe look at that dynamic within yourself. And it's not that you don't want to get the golden ring, but maybe how you are working on doing that. I mean, this is a whole long conversation that I'm trying to have in like a minute. Needs to be adjusted and calm down. Okay, Lord of Ink. And it's Danny Kellogg Nelson. Hey, Danny, how are you? Super long time no see or talk. So that's my nephew, Danny. So everybody say hi, Danny. Hi, Danny. So Lord of Ink says, my name is Bradley, by the way. And you think I'm going to remember that like beyond more than a second. But hi, Bradley. But I'll just remember you as Lord of Ink. Okay. Wow. Hey, Chris. How are you? How's that husband of yours? House is done. I kind of miss you guys. Anyway. All right. Ohora. Hello, Dear Dr. Rita, thanks for the talk and sharing the technique of surrendering to get the message. I have a reading number 3. Thank you indeed, and cheers to you. Oh, Hori, you always write such nice things. Okay, so I'm just giving you guys a heads up. There's about 15 minutes left, and I still have there's a lot on this cursor. So if you think that you're still far down, it might be time to jump the line if you'd like to get your reading today. Oh. All right, we're Ohura number 3. Okay, Ohura. All right, and that's your card for today. So, Hora, this is really kind of cool. I feel like there has been a shift in your inner energy. I'm not quite sure how to say this. I feel like in one way you are being very direct and being very focused, but I feel like the energy, the dynamic around it has kind of revealed itself to you, and you're being able to either tap into different parts of yourself, or you are able to connect with your guides or whatever to get the input that you need so that you can move forward in this direct and focused path, taking in, so I feel like it's not ego today that is driving the ship. I feel like it's your higher self, your guides, gods that are going, okay, try doing this. Okay, try doing this. And it is taking you in a very straight path to wherever it is that you are going. I hope that makes sense. All right. And Yvonne says, great something, shipple, something. Okay. And then Rosie says, thank you for your knowledge and advice. You're so welcome, Rosie. Thank you for coming to the show. Okay. Antonio. Hey, Antonio. He says, hi, Dr. Rita. I pray before my alarm clock rings early in the morning. I spent a year in a Catholic seminary, and we always, I guess, spent the early morning praying. That is really cool. And, I find that meditating first thing in the morning, or, spending that quiet time first thing in the morning tends to be the most relaxing and kind of cathartic time. So cool. Thank you for that. And then Christine says the topic tonight was amazing. See, when it comes through, and that was kind of the point. It's like when information comes through that clear and it is just so unloading. I mean, I wrote up basic show notes in 5 minutes, and then I came back and kind of flushed it out a little bit, but that's how you're connecting to source, because it just is spontaneous and it just happens and you really don't have control. Jeannie, hey Jeannie, and she says, hi, beautiful. Enjoying your amazing show. Hey, Jeannie, I miss you. All right. And the ERRT radio says, thank you. And right on the reading, but I think I am also in my new place. So it is a challenge, and I didn't bring up the new place, and it is a challenge. Yeah. You know what I mean. Okay. Ricky, he says, good evening and happy 2026. You're looking lovely as always. Your hair looks amazingly beautiful. I love you, Ricky. May I have a number 1 reading, please? Thank you so much. You sure can. Okay, and that's your card for today. So Ricky, see, I hate when information comes through like this, and then it's like, okay, I can be neutral to this. I kind of getting like this bad vibe kind of coming from you, that you are maybe feeling a little bit picked on right now or singled out. I feel like you're kind of hurting, on a scale of 1 to 10. Hurting, like your dog just died, which would be a 10. I'm going to put it like a 3 or a 4. So it's not overwhelming, feeling like you're getting picked on and singled out and hurting, but it's still there. I want to say, whoever this is or whatever this situation is, it's like, don't take it personal, because they're idiots, and they're idiots, and and it wasn't you. So there. That's all I got. Okay, let's see. Chris says, love the topic tonight. I would love a reading. No, card 1. You sure can. Chris. All right, and that's your card for today. So, Chris, I get the impression, and I'm going to say, like, and I'm just kind of like making up a time span, but like the last 6 months have kind of been shitty for you. And, but I feel like you've made some decisions. You've made some, like, had some aha moments. I feel like there is clarity on your part that things are going to start opening up for you, maybe not other people, but for you, so that you can move forward in your integrity, in your confidence as you move forward. I feel like this is very positive. I don't know if other people are going to be going on this path with you. It's interesting because, like, this whole idea of independence and freedom has just kind of ridden through a lot of the readings tonight, but I'm feeling like that's kind of coming up for you too, that you're getting rid of the shackles that have been holding you back and are just really coming into your own autonomy, would be a good way of saying it. Okay, and then Christine says, thank you, makes complete sense. Okay, Christine, perfect. And then Unar says, I find tonight's topic so interesting, but it's hard for me to understand. Hand yellow, heart red. Okay, I don't really understand that. Okay, so I want to respond to that. So Unar, I mean, it is just really a very felt sense. So, I don't know if you're like a visual person or a hearing person or a feeling person. So for me, I'm just going to use me. So I'm a very visual person. So when I receive information on a visual level, it's like I see it in my head. So when, and a very simple way of expressing it is, can you see your bedroom in your mind? And did you make your bed? And what did that look like? And can you see your car where it's parked in the garage or on the street? And can you see your parents' face? And so it is that kind of image. It's not like angels flying around. It is this basic image in your head, and it's paying attention to those. And sometimes you have to sit there and go, well, is this my imagination or not? And that's where the validation comes in. You get this thing, well, maybe you need to get that tire fixed. And then you don't listen and you end up with a flat tire. You should have listened. And that's what you're paying attention to is, what is it? How does it show up inside of me? That's why I keep saying it doesn't matter whether you pay attention to, you just need to learn what the voice sounds like, what the image comes through for you as, so that you can start responding appropriately. I hope that makes it clearer. All right, John Candy, I think you're a new person. Maybe not. Hi, Dr. Rita, your hair looks great. Can I please get a reading too? Please, thank you. Okay, so you know about the hair thing, John, but I'm not recognizing your name. But okay, John. Okay, John, and that's your card for today. So, John, when I look at your energy, I'm feeling like you're not super grounded. And it's weird because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that you've really been working on letting go. But when I look at you, it's all kind of like sitting around your ankles, like you opened up your pants and they dropped around your ankles and it's just sitting there. But then when I look at the rest of you, it's like kind of light and floaty, and and I'm getting a little like stomach nauseation going on. Almost this like surreal kind of feeling like you're lightheaded and gonna pass out, which says to me you're not real grounded. I get the impression that the world has not been a very comfortable place for you to be in lately. I feel like it hasn't been very comfortable for you to connect to the earth, aka and ground. And then release whatever that energy is, and then come back into your body. And unfortunately, it's not nice out and we don't have grass. So I can't send you out to go mow your lawn, to go dump whatever's going on. It's like I keep feeling like there is something I'm supposed to be telling you, but it is not coming through right this second. Okay, so what they're saying is, John, you just really need to breathe. You need to calm your world down. And ground, Okay, hope that makes sense. And anyone, if your reading is really working for you, I would love to hear back from you. It's like Unar, who says, whoa, my reading is incredible tonight. So accurate. I got goosebumps. Okay, Unar, thank you. And then Yvonne says, thank you for picking another card. Great awareness and exactly what is happening. Thank you. Well, Yvonne, it's like yours, it was just leaving me at a bad end of a sentence. And I'm like, no, there's more. Because see, I was listening and I was surrendering, and they were like, no, there's more. There's more. Okay. Okay, LD asked again. So Unar says, I love your smoking poodle. So all right, let's take the banner off here real quick. So this guy down here, I got for Christmas, and it says, don't tell me what to do. And for people that know me, you know that I have this weird poodle thing going on. So, okay, so let's see where I got lost here. All right, there's the smoking poodle. And then Chief Flow Academy says, I'm in Minnesota. Amy says, spot on. Thanks, Amy. And then LD Soul says, yes, I broke through a battery of low worth after being denied by this group in the non-physical. Long story, but things are going better. Good job. Good job. And then Chris said, true that. And then Chai Flow Academy says, do you have a collective reading for all of us? Not that I have prepared at this point in time. Amy says, have used those exact words, just a human being. Cool. Well, that's interesting. So Chi Flow Academy and Lynn Marie says, do you have a collective reading for all of us? And then Chi Flow says, love the insights you have. You make a lot of sense. I really try. I try to take complex topics and make them so that we can get them in the body. I mean, I could sit there and talk all esoteric, and then you don't get it. People don't get it. So, all right. Okay, let's see. Amy says, definitely ready and stocked up for the wintry weekend ahead. Tip is on the way. Because, see, Amy loves me, and she goes to soulhealer.com/live and leaves me a tip every week. Hint, hint, hint. Okay, anyway, sorry, that was bad. Chris said, missed you too. All right, let's see. All right, so Chief Law Academy says, wondering about the collective and how you think we should bring calm to our day, and boom, you just brought it up. But see, and I'm not going to read this for you, so I'm going to do a collective thing on this because there is a collective vibration, you know, and I feel like the energy on the planet right now is crazy. It is very disruptive. It is topsy-turvy and makes it hard to ground. But then we have these moments of divine clarity. Like for me, I think today was I had moments of divine clarity, which is why your readings were so good. And it's interesting because I started watching the videos about the Schumann resonances, which I really don't know a whole lot about, and have been kind of like comparing the Schumann resonances to where the vibration on the planet has been. And I'm not getting a one-on-one. And I even try to go, well, was that the vibration? Ooh, I didn't think about this. I wonder, and I'm going to have to look at it. I'm going to have to take another look to see if the Schumann resonance is showing a vibration, but we're not experiencing it to like the next day or a couple of days later. But if you just look and go, okay, today is Thursday, and here's the Today Thursday reading, I'm not seeing a whole lot of correspondence between the two. So that's my word of the day. And then Ricky says, thanks you very much, Dr. Rita. Have a wonderful, beautiful weekend. You too, Ricky. And then Chris says, thank you, Miss Rita. That was right on. Good, Chris. Okay. And then John says, I've never felt truly grounded. Feels foreign here. Well, I mean, unless you're an alien, which I'm not even going to touch, but I do read, that might be a possibility. And then he says, it doesn't. Thank you very much. I've done a lot of work, but you're spot on. Thank you. And then Ahura says, thanks again for the reading. Many things are going on, and I feel so confused what to do. Blessings, all the best. All right. Don says, great reading. Thank you. But now I wonder what you would have picked up with the first card. Well, the first card was the Mass card. So that was the first card. All right. All right. I made it to the end, and I'm only 1 minute overdue. Sweet. All right. So anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. I had a really good time. I'm glad you enjoyed the topic, and I'm sure I'll have something interesting again next week. So till then, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Oh, and by the way, if you have someone that you feel would enjoy the show, would get value from getting a reading, please share it with your friends and people that you know. I would really appreciate it. Anyway, till next week, be blessed.